You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
WGNS talks about all things local. It's Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett. Weekday mornings at 10 on WGNS, AM, FM, and online. The Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Well, it's another Wednesday, the Wednesday after Memorial Day. Chip Walters here. Glad to welcome you into the Wednesday Roundtable here on WGNS. And I was talking with Brian Barrett before we got going, and he suggested that we play We Are the Champions for my guest today as we talk about a couple of championship coaches, talk with them, and invite you to join in as well. Two coaches who coached two teams that really kind of captured everybody's fancy this spring and played on a national level, and that would be Jimmy Borendame of Middle Tennessee men's tennis and Jeff Breeden of Lady Raider softball, who just concluded just over a week ago in the Tuscaloosa Regional against the homestanding Alabama Crimson Tide, who eventually, as of this past weekend, made it to the World Series. So, guys, appreciate y'all coming down today.
Thanks for having us.
Good.
Thanks, Chip.
All right. You guys have just gone through the ringer as far as everything coming flying at you 100 miles an hour. And Jimmy, yours was a couple of weeks earlier as you guys won the Conference USA Championship and ended up at Starkville to take on Tulane, who you beat, and then lost to Mississippi State, the home team there. Have you had a chance yet to catch a breath, either one of you?
Yeah, definitely catching my breath, just already starting to turn the page and already trying to turn towards next year already, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and Jeff, you guys, I mean, you're still getting the residual effect of the performance that your ladies had down in Tuscaloosa, and they're still talking about you on TV.
Yeah, they were still talking about it in the Super Region last week about our run and San Diego State's run and being non-seeded. So it was a great experience for us, and yeah, it never slows down. Like Jimmy said, we've turned the page to next year, and we're working in the transfer portal as we speak, and recruiting will be 10 days from now. So I mean, it never stops.
Well, speaking of that, I called Kevin Nichols late yesterday afternoon when the word came out. I texted Coach Myers, and that was a big story yesterday that the interim tag has been taken off Jerry Myers, and he is now the permanent head baseball coach. They had a great run in the conference tournament, and man, what a staff he has put together over there with Kevin and Jason Steen, two former head coaches in Division I, and so a lot of good stuff happening over there this spring. There's one athlete still performing for middle, and that's Alaba Akintola, who is going to the outdoor NCAA championships to compete in the 100 and 200 meter. He is qualified in the semifinals for that, so kind of keep an eye out for that. But anyway, to kind of when I start looking at bios, it's like, gosh, have you both you guys been here as long as you have, and you're both over 10 years now. This was your 11th year, right?
Yeah, this is my 11th year here.
Yeah, and how many years have you been here now, Jimmy?
Yeah, I just finished season 13.
Golly, doesn't seem like you've been here. I remember the day you walked in the building, but yeah, and a lot of things have happened, and a lot of things are happening. So, kind of a question for both of you. When you look at, if you were somebody told you to give the State of the Union of your program, and talk about, kind of give me a thought of where it was when you walked in, and where it is today, and where you want it to go.
I'm gonna let Coach Jeff start on that one.
Well, when I walked in, he wasn't in a very good place, and then I didn't get it to a good place the first few years either. Chris and Dr. McPhee took a chance on an old high school coach coming out of Riverdale High School, and it took us several years to get it going. But when we got it going, it's been going good now. And in the back of your mind, you think, yeah, someday let's take this thing to the College World Series, but. And to a super region or whatnot. But as we lived it this year, we were one run away from a super region, which for a school, and I hate the term mid-major, but I'm going to use it because that's what everybody uses and everybody understands that. For a mid-major to get to a super region in our sport is almost unheard of, and we were right there at it. I was hoping that in that if game that we would get the home run and Alabama would not get the home run, because in the seventh it was 0-0, and it was. We had quieted 4,000 fans, and which was quite awesome. And if people that love softball have not ever been to Alabama in postseason, they need to go experience a game, because it's unlike. I'm sure the College World Series today or tomorrow and whatever will be like that, but it's unbelievable. And we quietened them and
well, and the other thing, they gave you a standing ovation leaving the field, and that says a lot.
Yeah, they appreciate good softball. I mean, that's the thing. And then I get home and I get some emails from a business guy in Birmingham that told me that he had season tickets forever at Alabama, and after our game, he was an Alabama fan, of course, but now he's a Middle Tennessee fan as well. So that kind of stuff goes a long way in just solidifying that what I think I'm doing a decent job at, and I think our kids are. Or I ask them every time out, just play your heart out and play as hard as you can and capture fans. And I think that's what we did this spring. I think when we go back in the fall, I think we're going to have a bigger fan base and all that. So,
I think there's no doubt about that. So yeah, I mean, it's come a long way. Now, it's kind of similar for you. It was things you always try to build, and you guys have built something now that kind of feeds on itself.
Well, I want to say something back about follow what Coach Jeff said. Coach, you said you're doing a decent job. You're doing way better than a decent job. That's a hell of a job. So I just want to go ahead and let you know, I noticed it, and I was following the live scoring at the conference tournament like a crazy person, yelling at my phone. So you've done a hell of a job, and I'm very impressed. But yeah, I mean, I think we're both kind of in the same boat. I mean, I took over a tennis program. We had 4 players. We had no indoor courts. We had, I guess what was left of the Buck Bolden Tennis Center at the time, which was a little bit rough. And yeah, we piece by piece just keep trying to build, and every year looking to try to get it a little bit better. And now I'm probably the most spoiled MTSU coach that we've got, with a new indoor facility that's 8 years old, new outdoor tennis center that's going to be done in October, November. 4 championships in a row, the highest ranked, I say major mid. That's what I like to say.
Right, I like that
better. Program, 2 years back-to-back top 25 program, and I'm super excited, kind of what we've been able to do together as a squad and as a program.
Yeah, and you're going to have, I think they're going to confer some sort of engineering or design degree to you once this outdoor center's over, because you've been part of building 2 of these things, one indoor, one outdoor, and I think the drive you have. Personally helps get those things down the road and to the finish line.
Yeah, I've been fortunate, with the city facility. The city kind of took the lead on that. This one on campus, they've let me really kind of put my finger on all a lot of the little details and things like that, and so I've been really fortunate to be part of it. I probably know a little too much about building tennis centers that I want to know, but yeah, it's very cool.
Somewhere in a life many years from now, that may be your calling. You hear, oh, that's a Nicholas design golf course or whatever. Oh, that's a Borendane design tennis center.
That's
but
funny.
Jeff, when you talk about they took a chance on a high school coach, how much credit do you give Rick Insel's early success at middle to giving Dr. McPhee and Chris Massaro the confidence to say, yeah, this works, and we've seen it work.
Yeah, he gets a lot of credit for that, because if his situation had not worked, they wouldn't have went back to that deal a second time. So, Coach Insel has done a great job, and they got a great following and all that stuff. And he's a real good source to I bounce stuff off of him from time to time, and he's a good source, and he's always made himself available anytime I've had a question for him. So, my success is a direct correlation to what he's done, because I wouldn't have had the opportunity if he hadn't done what he did.
Kind of give folks, folks may know you from being at Coffee County in Manchester, but that's not where it all started. I was looking this morning. I didn't realize you were born in Sweetwater.
Yeah, I'm Sweetwater, Tennessee native, and
the Lost Sea.
The Lost Sea. Yeah,
TMI.
That's right. Yeah. So you've been around the Sweetwater area, so you know. I was in Sweetwater, and then went to East Tennessee State and coached in Morristown East High School 1 year, and just football at that time, and then went to Coffee County, and that's where it all took place. Was at Coffee County for a long time, for 13 years or whatever, and was fortunate down there and did a lot of great things down there, and then fortunately Tom Nolan calls me, and I come to Riverdale, and then from Riverdale to here. So you never know. If very easily I could have said no to Mr. Nolan, and I wouldn't be at middle right now. So you never know as you go through your career what's going to come about, and what decisions to make and what not to make. But I've made good ones, and I'm glad I'm at where I'm at. So
had you coached softball before you got to Coffee County?
No, that program had been in existence 1 year at Coffee County, and they had won one game. And all you had been prior to that was a football coach. I had been a football coach, and my mom played softball, so I had been around softball. And I had umpired softball while I was in college. I umpired baseball and softball all the time, and so I knew a little bit about it. And the job was open, and I went to Coffee County as a assistant women's basketball coach. I didn't even go as football coach.
For who? Who was the head coach?
Don Weiss. Don Weiss
okay.
was when I was in high school in Sweetwater. He was the head basketball coach at Sweetwater, and he moved to Coffee County, and I said, and he called me. He said, "I want you to come with me and be my assistant basketball coach." I said, "Coach, I don't know anything about basketball, blah, blah, blah." He said, "You know how to coach, so I just want you to know how to coach. I'll teach you basketball." And so I said, "Okay." And that's the way and they had a softball job, and he said, "You need to hire Jeff as your softball coach," and blah, blah, blah. And we turned it around from, they were 1-20 or something, and we went maybe 18 and whatever the first year, and then we exploded. So that's the way it, you never know how it's going to transpire, but that's the way it did.
Yeah. And what about you, Jimmy? Tell folks kind of your little bio and background, and how and did you grew up in a kind of a tennis household though, didn't you?
No,
not
sir.
at all.
Actually, my father doesn't know how many points a touchdown is. He's
a non-sports guy.
Non-sports guy. Mom's 4'11", not athletic. I got into tennis. My sister came home and said she could beat me in tennis, and that was about it. And said, "There's no way." We got a very competitive family, even though we don't have a sports family. But and so then you couldn't pull me off the courts after that. Growing up in Chicago.
Yeah, well, and you're one of the most competitive guys I know. I mean, whether it's who can order lunch faster or whatever, you're kind of right there. But what then? So you credit your sister for challenging you to a tennis game or a tennis match, and from then. What lit the fire?
Yeah, she got me into to play tennis, just the competitive nature. But then just the nature of the sport, it's totally different than Coach Jeff and softball and some of these other sports. Tennis, everything's kind of on your own shoulders. If I lose, and it's all on me. I can work harder, I can do more. Then kind of realizing that college tennis is a combination of both, where we get the team aspect. That I've always kind of missed, and then combining it with the individual aspect of how hard you can work yourself and earn your wins or your losses are your own. I don't have to really depend on 6, 7, 8, 11 other people to get the job done, and those things really drove me. But at the end of the day, I just really like helping people achieve their goals, and so that's kind of my little button that gets me going.
Yeah. All right. Jeff Breeden and Jimmy Borndame are my guests here today. It's a good opportunity here to take a break. If you'd like to send in a question or a comment, it's 893-1450. That's 615-893-1450 for the two head coaches. and 2 championship coaches. We'll have more on the Roundtable right after this.
Hey fellas, need an annual health exam for work or just to start the year prioritizing your health? I recommend Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They check all your levels, not just your testosterone. Typically, it's completely covered by most health insurance, and if you don't have insurance, it's less than $100 for full labs and an office visit with the provider. Low T Center specializes in men's health, making it quick and easy. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Grab your chair, put on your dancing shoes, call your friends. Friday night, June 2nd, is the first Friday Night Live concert downtown, and you don't want to miss it. All your favorite country cover songs from the 80s to now will be performed by the upcoming country music star Justin Kirk. 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. on the Murfreesboro Square. Thanks to sponsors Wilson Bank and Michael Busey State Farm, this free, family-friendly concert will pack out the square with dancing. June 2nd, Friday Night Live concerts downtown are back.
Here's a question. What do you want from your electric co-op?
An app for easy payment.
Solar energy solutions.
I just want to talk to a real person when I need help. Energy tips and low rates.
Done, 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 done.
I want to fly my car to the moon.
Houston, let's talk about electric vehicles. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments and get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
We're at Adams Place talking with Walt.
I'm enjoying it here. It's nice to get acquainted with a lot of people.
There's a great social life at Adams Place.
They provide lots of entertainment. I like to play cards, and there's quite a crowd here that plays cards. I enjoy Adams Place very much.
Hi, this is Terry Deal at Adams Place. Call me for more information about Adams Place, located at 1927 Memorial Boulevard, across from Walmart.
It's Good Neighbor Events, brought to you by the law offices of John Day, AmeriCare Pest Control, and Cardinal Realty Solutions.
Cardinal Realty Solutions takes the time to sit down with new buyers or sellers to go over the process for that big transaction.
We had multiple offers thanks to Cardinal Realty Solutions.
Find a realtor you can trust at cardinalrealtysolutions.com.
Murfreesboro is hosting a career fair on Friday, June the 9th.
We have healthcare, FedEx,
Alex Jones, HR manager for the city of Murfreesboro,
fast food, manufacturing facilities.
Career fair on the Civic Plaza from 9 to 1, June the 9th.
Now WGNS Good Neighbor Events. Enjoy farm fresh produce, baked goods, local honey, flowers, and much more at the Farmers Market every Tuesday and Friday morning from 7 until noon at the Lane Agri Park. And then on Saturday mornings, the Saturday Marketplace, 8 until noon, all around the Rutherford County Courthouse. That one's a service of the Murfreesboro Main Street program. Here's something for the youngsters, Shrek the Musical, at the Center for the Arts in Uptown Murfreesboro. Give blood at the Red Cross, and you might be eligible for a free backyard movie. Ask about that when you make your donation of blood at the Red Cross. And now through August 31st, there's no sales tax on gun safes sold in Tennessee. Now until August 31st. Don't throw away Old Glory. Retire your American flag with respect. Bring it by WGNS and let the girls from BSA Troop 2019 at Trinity United Methodist Church retire it with dignity. Plus, we also recycle Bibles. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor Events.
Good Neighbor Weather. Look for a blend of clouds and sunshine developing for this afternoon. Do pick up a chance for some scattered showers and storms, highs in the mid-80s. And for tonight, 62. I'm meteorologist Michael Caron, News Radio WGNS. Right now, 70 degrees.
WGNS powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Looking to go solar? MTE's Pro Solar program is committed to educating members on the process and helping them achieve their renewable energy goals. Learn more about Pro Solar and your free consultation at mte.com/prosolar.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
Wednesday Roundtable, we're talking Middle Tennessee men's tennis and women's softball today. Jeff Breeden and Jimmy Borndamer here, and we kind of talked some background earlier, and as we get into other things and some of the exciting things you guys had this year. Jimmy, talk a little bit about the way you coach and putting a team together, because you are in an individual sport that also has a team championship. And if for folks who know you, I've always said, well, you're a tennis coach with a football coach's brain in your head sometimes, because you're super competitive, like I mentioned. But do you can you feel as the year goes along, or even in your off-season workouts with your guys, because you're bringing in people from not only close by but from around the world to kind of get in? Are they open to accepting the team part of it, or is that a challenge?
Yeah, bringing guys from all over the world together and trying to get them to bond together and believe into our culture. It is a little bit of a challenge. It's fun though. It's extremely diverse. I'm kind of like I like to think of the team as almost like a little bit of a Noah's Ark. I don't like to have more than two from any one country, but it's really cool to learn from them and then hear the different things that they've done. But you kind of hit a thing. I typically coach my team a little bit more like a team coach. We actually have different set plays, and if you've seen the movie Coach Carter, I give them names not after girls that I dated, but actually after countries that they're from. And so then we've kind of got different systems in place, and so that they know when I say, hey, we're going to talk about the Swedish drill, or you need to do this, then they know exactly what I'm talking about. We practice it, and I'm a little bit of a boring guy. I like my 6 or 7 same drills, and I think actually a lot of the best coaches do like their core practice kind of plan. So good thing I've got a great young assistant coach that kind of helps me mix it up.
Boy, you do. I mean, both of you have terrific assistant coaches, and what you just said, I think about Mike Leach when he was alive. They always made a big deal about some coaches in football have these, huge play cards hanging off their belt and all this. And he had basically an index card, which I think had a little more on it than people actually realized. But there was a lot made of basically, having 3 or 4 different, plays or routes or whatever for receivers, but just continuing to do that until you're as good as you can be at it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we the fundamentals, we beat them down to death, and some really simple tactics. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
But getting them to believe, in themselves, and then the culture part of the whole team aspect is really big for team tennis. Just because, you are out there on the court by yourself when you're playing singles. You got another guy when you're playing doubles. But, I mean, so it's a challenge.
And Jeff, when you guys came back from Christmas break, that's when you can get started practicing. And when did you have an idea that this group had something special? Because once the season started in February or late February, you got off to the best start in program history. So did you have an idea that was coming?
We had an idea in the fall that we were gonna be very good. We played a lot of JUCO teams in the fall and got to, you do it because you're gonna see those recruits that you're gonna end up recruiting to. But we had an idea when we turned our team over last year. So we had 5 incoming freshmen and we got 4 people in the transfer portal. So we had 9 of our 20 people were brand new. And so immediately from the time that they first hit campus in August, they all gelled well together, and there was a good vibe within our program from day one. So we knew that we had a chance. Now, you don't ever know. You know, we didn't know we were going to be that close to the Super Region, or we didn't know that we were going to beat Alabama in the finals, you know, of a region, or anything like that. But we knew that we were going to compete in our conference, and our conference was very good this year too. But we knew we were going to do that, so we knew we were going to be pretty good. But we didn't know how good until it all started to unfold.
Well, in softball, as you know, pitching is the name of the game,
yeah.
and it's interesting to watch, because you had a really good group of older players, and you had a really good group of super young players, and to see that it worked out that way in the circle as well for you.
Yeah, the way we kind of do things, and we had five pitchers this year, and we brought Gretchen Mead back as a fifth year, and we thought. We originally was not going to bring her back as a player. We were going to bring her back as GA, and because we thought maybe our pitching was going to be good enough, and she had a great year as a technically a senior. But then I hired a new pitching coach, and they met, and I said, Coach, Gretchen can play one more year. I said, what do you think? We're going to bring her back as GA to throw batting practice, but you know, what do you want to do? And she goes, we need to bring her back to pitch, because she's a lot older and blah, blah, blah. And so I said, okay. And so we called Gretchen up in the middle of summer last year and said, Gretchen, you want to play again instead of GA? And she said, yeah. And so she was a 20-game winner, and she's the one that beat Alabama. So, you know, and as the year unfolded, I mean, we had people that you never know when your number's going to be called, when it's going to be your day. I mean, Carrie Munn beat, early in the year, she beat Boston College, Power 5 team down in Florida when we were there, and she beat La Tech at their place in a series there. And then she ends up beating Charlotte in the tournament. And you know, if Carrie doesn't perform, then we don't win the conference tournament. We don't go to the region. We don't beat Alabama. We don't do any of that. So you never know when it's going to be your time. And we had a whole lot of people that just really stepped up, and when it was their time to perform, they did. And you know, it's just the way. That's what makes it special, because you never know who it's going to be.
Yeah, and you had and Karsich came along,
yeah.
and what a nice find she was.
Oh yeah, she was great. I mean, and then we got not only her, but we got Shelby Eccles that played second base for us all year long, and we got Savannah Habits, who played left field and was, you know, made Sports Center's Player of the Day in a diving catch against North Texas in the 10th inning or whatever it was, and you know, she saves that game. So I mean, you never know. And then we just had people step up all the time, and our kids had. The one thing about it, if you watched us and if you'll come watch us in the fall, you're going to see that we have fun. And I completely flipped my switch on the way I did things this year. And throughout my whole 30-something years of coaching, I've tried to prepare my team like I was getting ready to play. And in the off season, I decided I was going to do something different, because I'm not the one that's playing this game. You know, I just go make decisions. I don't swing the bat. I don't make a pitch. I don't do anything. And so this year I decided I'm going to let my kids get themselves prepared the way that they want to get prepared, and I'm going to stay out of their way. And so when we took BP and stuff, I didn't go in. I didn't watch it. I didn't do anything. I sat out on the bucket by myself and got myself ready for my game, and they got ready their own way. And because it was a dance party, and if I'd have went in there with it, I would have lost my mind. And they understand that, and so they got themselves prepared, and they got themselves ready to go, and they had more energy than our opponents, and everybody had a great season. So.
I mean, one thing, they played loose all year long.
Yep.
I never saw them when they felt tight. Now, your guys, especially with so many international players that you have, it's interesting to watch their reactions and celebrations and preparation, because you know, here most of these European guys that you have, they're all a little bit different in the way that they go about it in their way. So I kind of, you know, chuckle every once in a while. I said, you know, well, they don't really celebrate really well, or you know, but they do, and they've kind of as a team, they've kind of figured out their own way of, you know, excitement and getting themselves jacked up and all that. Do you help guide that, or do you do like Jeff and stay out of the way?
No, I'm a lot like Jeff. I mean, you won't see me anywhere near the boys when they're warming up or whatnot. Now, practice is totally different. You know, practice, you know, we got a lot of structure and discipline and how that's going to go and standards. And then before the match, I'm running around trying to pretend I'm busy and picking up dirt on the ground, trying to stay away from them. But yeah, the international guys, I'm pretty intense fella. So yeah, when they celebrate, I know a lot of coaches actually don't like that I celebrate when we win, but I mean I let loose. I mean, and I'm not ashamed of it, and I expect them to celebrate. I mean, that's what we're working so hard for. So yeah, you'll see me jumping, double fist pumping, and yelling and screaming and all those things, and I like play with a little emotion and passion. I am Sicilian, so
yeah, that's right. Now, what is the as far as the communication level? Is there how do you get that to where they understand what you're trying to get across, and vice versa?
Well, I mean, being an international team, I mean, the people don't realize that these guys are extremely intelligent. I mean, they're studying English as their second or maybe third or fourth. If my guy Andre Horak, I mean, I think he speaks 5 languages. These guys are extremely intelligent. So the communication part isn't an issue at all. I mean, this year, actually, we conceded the GPA award. I think I'm trying to remember who won it.
Volleyball. Was it volleyball?
Golf. I mean, we are typically performing pretty highly academically, and so that communication part's it's not hard. And then when you do the drills, the same 6-7 drills, like I don't know how many times in practice, yeah, that communication comes really easy.
Well,
not to mention that I mean, you just get the death look from me, and you kind of know right away.
There's certain things that transcend language, right?
Yes,
Now, I mean, and you talked about the high level students. When students, the first word in student athlete, and you had at least 2 in a row, either male athlete of the year at the Raiders' Choice or President's Award winner, and those, it's 4 in a row now. Go right ahead.
Gonzalo Morel, Tom Moonen, Francisco Rocco. Yeah.
And Francisco's just one unbelievable guy. I mean,
pretty cool. Yeah, we call him Brock because he's always smiling like the Pokemon figure. But yeah, he's a superstar. Excited to see him pursue his pro tennis career. It starts next week. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
While Jimmy is getting guys from all over the world, you're what is the recruiting philosophy for softball? Because there are hot spots all over the country, whether it's high school, junior college, that kind of thing. But you look down that middle roster, there's a lot of Tennessee hometowns in there.
Yeah, it goes in cycles. We happen to be in a good area of good travel ball and good high school softball in our state, and it's hard for us. I mean, we got so many Division I schools right around us, but everybody in Tennessee, if you grow up in Tennessee, you want to wear that stupid orange T on your hat, and they'll go up to UT for free, just to be on there. And I'm not taking anything away from UT. I grew up about 50 miles below that stadium too, south of that stadium, and I know what it's like. But we try to lock down as many Tennessee kids as we can, as many Rutherford County kids as we can in surrounding areas, and then we go out from there. I mean, our conference is national, so you're going to have to recruit nationally. We've got one student. I had to call Jimmy back in the wintertime. So how do you deal with it? How do you do this international stuff? Because we've got one coming in a few years from Canada, so we kind of treaded into those waters a little bit. But we got a good splash of people from everywhere. I mean, we've had years where we've had a lot of California kids. Now we don't. We're kind of dipping into Florida, and we use Florida and Texas here lately as a big recruiting ground for us.
Yeah, the going through all of that and watching, because Tennessee was up until about 30 years ago, I guess that's about the time softball came online with TSSAA as a championship sport, and the Chattanooga area was the first real hot spot. The mid-state, in this whole area right here, because all these schools have been good, and then the private schools, you got into Memphis and that kind of thing. But your reputation around here has been good about getting that. the success that you guys have had, and I mean, it's a sales job. When you're in recruiting, it's a sales job, and I've been in sales one way or the other all my life, and pretty much. And one of my thoughts was, okay, as far as goals and stuff, and I don't necessarily put number goals out for what I want to do. I kind of just have a feeling, okay, things going well or whatever. But as a salesperson, I always said, man, if I can get to the point where I'm answering the phone instead of dialing the phone, that's a big deal. And the platform you guys were on, I would imagine, Jeff, that here in the last couple of weeks, you've been answering the phone a little bit. And over time, with the success you've had, Jimmy, I would say you're starting to answer the phone some. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, my email kind of has blown up a little bit, and we're getting some traction that we normally wouldn't have. I mean, anytime that you win the conference championship, and that you can sell that to possible recruits, and then you can't buy the time that we got on ESPN. I mean, and we were talking about it earlier. Anytime that MTSU goes across the ticker on ESPN in whatever sport it is, you can't buy that kind of advertisement because everybody's out there watching that, and so. We sell Murfreesboro. We sell Middle Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
People ask me all the time, how do you get to California kids, or how do you get Florida kids, Texas kids, whatever? It's because we're 35 minutes from B&A in Nashville, and you can jump on Southwest and go direct to wherever you want to go. And then when you drive 40 minutes and you get on our campus, and it's beautiful. And this community it celebrates our campus, and you feel a little small hometown environment when you come to our campus, and everybody that's at our campus makes you feel like you're welcome, and this is a place that you can succeed at, and that you want to be at. And so we just got MTSU is, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the best things that the state of Tennessee's got going. I mean, we got good people. It's about our people.
Yeah. Now, Jimmy, I would imagine a great recruiting tool for you has been these rock and roll Friday afternoon matches against big names that have come in here, and you guys knocking them off, and the atmosphere that you've created at the Adams Tennis Complex for those Friday afternoon 5 o'clock happy hour matches has been unbelievable.
Yeah, I studied business, but I studied finance in school, and but a lot of my colleagues tease I'm kind of like the Don King without hair for marketing, and when we used to travel to Nashville to play at Nashboro Village Racket Club. It was just by the airport.
Right.
It was kind of a little bit of a tough gig, and so I realized, one of the things that I really felt bad for my team was that there was really nobody that would come other than a couple girlfriends and friends or whatever, and parent or whatever, and my wife standing there with Rocco or what. And it was unfortunate. The kids, they're playing hard, and then there's nobody there. And I made a pact to myself that when we get an indoor center, that I was going to make it one of my missions to fill the place, and that people hadn't to experience college tennis. And so, I go out of my way. I'm really lucky. I use a manager to help me solicit fans and come up with ideas and honor veterans and do giveaways and different things and think outside the box to try to get people to come by. And if they come by one time and they have fun and it's free, and you also can get a donut. I mean, it's like, why not? So it's a lot of fun.
It is, and it makes for a great atmosphere, and people look forward to those. So, Jimmy Borendame, Jeff Breeden, my guests here today on the Wednesday Roundtable. We'll come back with our final segment right here on WGNS. Looking for a charming home close to downtown and MTSU? Look no further than this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 0-lot line at 1341 Sharon Court. This home features a spacious living room, an open kitchen, and a primary suite on the main floor. It could be perfect for a family or a couple who wants to live in the middle of everything while still in a private neighborhood. Call for a showing today, 615-542-1915. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates.
This is Dr. David Morris with Magnolia Medical Center. Do you suffer from peripheral neuropathy in your hands or feet, burning pain, balance problems, and decreased quality of life? Magnolia Medical Center can help.
Magnolia Medical Center in Murfreesboro. Online at magnoliamedicalcenters.com.
Here at Bud's Tire, we make buying Michelin tires simpler. I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We offer a straightforward approach to service, including nationwide warranties with every purchase. Stop in today to see our full lineup of Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. For whatever you drive, Michelin and BF Goodrich have a tire to fit any need. Bud's Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
French's, the name to trust. French's, depend on us. French's, a great selection too. We take pride in pleasing you. Get brand names at a lower price. The French family really treats you nice. It makes good sense to shop at French's. French's Shoes and Boots.
That's French's Shoes and Boots, 1837 South Church Street in Murfreesboro.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back into the Wednesday Roundtable, talking with Jimmy Borndame, men's tennis coach at MTSU, and Jeff Breeden, the women's softball coach. The Lady Raiders just came a run shy of being in a super regional. They were in the NCAA regional down at Tuscaloosa. Tennis was at the Mississippi State regional there. The landscape of college athletics, obviously, since you guys began coaching, has changed. And now you have to not only recruit new players, you with the transfer portal and the NIL situation, you almost have to recruit your own roster again. And you know, I was noticing the other day the SEC meetings were going on, and football coaches are talking about tampering and stuff like that. And it has made your lives in that sense a little bit tougher. And how do you go about that?
Ooh, well, for me, this is a hot topic. The way I've just kind of summed it up is the transfer portal.
It giveth and it taketh away.
Yes, and you know, it's just created an atmosphere where it's just so easy. It's so easy now to just change. You know, you can look at a kid and I give them the death look, and they could be like, "Wow," you know. I mean, and it's pretty sad. You know, I will not, and I will not plan on changing. I will not recruit my own kids. I'm going to give them what they need, which may or may not be what they want. And if they want to go somewhere else, they can go somewhere else. That's just kind of the way I run it. And, you know, but I also don't have to battle with this NIL, which you didn't bring up, which is a little different, you know, and trying to find money for players. I mean, that's not something I have had to deal with, but I know that's maybe a little different for coach. So, but yeah, that's my take.
So you mentioned it earlier that you're diving into the transfer portal, and meaning, like I said, it that door swings both ways. Is it? How are you handling it? And like Jimmy said, is it a little too easy these days? There's some. You hear the word guardrails. What's your thought there of what if Jeff could be czar for a day, and how would you put that together?
I guess it depends on whatever side of the fence you're on that. If you're a Power 5 team, you probably want no rules, because you want the gap between us and them to grow. Mm-hmm. And if you have all the money and you have all the resources, then you're going to get all the people. Okay, so it's that simple. And but if you're on the side of the fence that we're on, then what you're going to do is every year, just like has happened to both of us, you're going to have a great season. You're going to have invested a whole lot of money and time into a player, and you have maximized their capability. You've coached them up. You love them. You've given them everything they want, or everything you think they want. And somebody that's got just a little bit more money than you got, or a little bit more prestige they think than you have, is going to be is going to be able to come in here and pick those kids off. And you can say tampering, you can say whatever you want to about whatever you want to, but it's almost like we're a farm system for anybody who has more money than us, and that's what our society has allowed to happen. And Nick Saban, when all this NIL stuff came up, he told them that they were opening up Pandora's box without any rules when they did it, and it has proven to be a fact. So our recruiting is different. Everything's different, and people can say what they want to about, the kids should be able to do what they want to, coaches can do what they want to, whatever. But Jimmy and I are not SEC football coaches. We're not making $7 million a year. Okay, so it's different.
Right.
What we do is different, but on the other hand, if you're a kid, a kid comes to my office and says, "Hey, I just want to go to the SEC. I've done this, whatever," and it just happened to me. So, what do you tell them? Well, I'd probably like to play in the SEC too. So, and I'd like to be on TV every day too. And so you can't say to them, "I'm going to try to hold you back." What you're going to say is there anything I can do to keep you here? And if they say no, then you're going to say, "I hope that you get everything you want and everything that you deserve, and I hope that you're successful. And I love you, and I've enjoyed coaching you."
Yeah.
So
I just get really tired of the template of, I want to thank all my coaches and teammates for the most incredible experience of my life. But that being said, and it that gets really old to me. But with the, when you look at that landscape, to create an atmosphere within or a culture now, which is the buzzword, creating the culture that they want to be in, is that helpful, or sometimes does it just come down to what you mentioned as far as, okay, I want to play in the SEC, or sometimes it comes down to dollars when the NIL raises its head, and yours is different because a lot of folks don't know that international players, if I'm correct, they're not able to get NIL money. Is that correct?
Correct. Correct.
And that changes the landscape a little too.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird when you say the culture. I guess, or you want to play an SEC schedule. I mean, if you look at my schedule, I think we play more Power 5 teams than we play non-Power 5 teams.
Right.
So, like that's not really an argument for somebody wanting to leave my program at Middle Tennessee. I just think it always comes down to the all right, if somebody really wants to try to go there, then hey, okay, be honest about it, and be transparent. The portal for me got a little bit interesting just because, I mean, if you're not playing, I understand, but you also got to understand that only 6 get to play in tennis, and maybe you're number 7 and you're going to move into that role the next year. But some kids aren't willing to put in that work and keep their head down and trust the process. It's this instant gratification that everybody wants. The Uber Eats, the Express Car Wash, the all those little things like that, and that's kind of the way things are going.
So yeah, well, I mean, and that is that your biggest challenge? What in what you do, the change of the landscape in recruiting, has that been the biggest challenge, and has it been and what do you have to do? You just have to adapt, I guess.
Well,
at this point.
I mean, I'm having a philosophical struggle with myself on some of this recruiting and NIL. On one hand, should the kids be able to make money? Well, sure they should. Okay, I'm not. We don't have a problem with that. But when you are recruiting a kid, and this is happening at our level, okay, and when you're recruiting a kid and a travel coach or a agent, handler, whatever you want to call whoever, okay, in basketball, an AAU coach, whatever, whenever they say, Coach, it's going to take $30,000, you might as well not call Sally unless you got $30,000 worth of NIL deal, because we've already been promised this. Then I have a problem with that, because with my team, I'm teaching a team sport, okay, and I'm teaching a sport that the locker room does not need to be divided; it needs to be together.
Right.
Okay? And people can say what all they want to, but if you start getting NIL money that's big money, and you don't perform, if you're a football player and you don't perform on Saturday, let a quarterback that's getting $100,000 NIL throw about 3 interceptions and see what an offensive lineman who's starting and not getting 0 NIL, see what happens in that locker room.
So
that's where we're going with this thing.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing that that exact scenario is one of those. It's like it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because you're still talking about 18 to 22-year-olds who have not experienced anything like this before, and also at their age, do they really, they see somebody, just pick somebody that in whatever pro level that signs a contract for this unbelievable amount of money. Do they understand, how hard does a guy out here have to work to make $50,000 a year for his family? And to me that's part of the understanding of what that value is something else. So
yeah, I mean, I guess when I hear some of this NIL stuff, and I'm thinking, I don't make that much money. I mean, the student athlete's going to make this much money, or my assistant coach who's a GA, and this kid's going to make more money than the guy, this assistant coach. It's been the past 5. Has it been about 5 years? I want to say there's just been a lot of new turns and twists to college athletics, and navigating them has been interesting and challenging. And you're seeing it. It's kind of for me. I feel it's very sad to see a lot of coaches that I respect and think are doing the right things and doing about the right way, and you're seeing their light kind of dwindle, or these guys retiring a little early.
Well, you see, college basketball has been really, you see a lot of the guys who've been around a long time and over the last couple of years have decided to get out. Let's flip the switch a little bit. What's got you excited for the next foreseeable future? And I mean, Jimmy being the construction superintendent that he is now over at the new outdoor tennis center at Middle, right there on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Well, what's got you excited about that and your team that you're putting together?
I'm super excited about a lot of things for the tennis program at MTSU. I mean, obviously, come October or / November, we're going to be opening a brand new $8 million on-campus tennis facility. MTSU Tennis is back on campus. As of right now, we've got 6 new players coming in. We talked about the transfer portal. There's some are swimming upriver and some are going downriver and whatnot. We got 3 off the portal. Oh, I'm sorry, 4 off the portal. I misspoke. I have 6 new players. Did I say that? 6 new players, 4 off the portal, 2 new freshmen, and then I've got 3 really strong guys coming back from last year's team, including the freshman of the year in the conference. So, lots there.
What's got you excited, Jeff?
Just my kids. My kids have got me excited. Most of our kids are coming back, and so we'll be a veteran team next year, and we got a couple of incoming freshmen that are going to be good, and we'll get in the transfer portal. We're going to find a little pitching help and to replace Gretchen, and just our whole atmosphere about our program. It's just I'm excited to be able to go to work every day with the kids that I get to be around and just have fun.
Conference USA is going to have a different look next year for sure. And regarding your 2 programs, is it going to be tougher or easier to do your job?
If I'm honest, I don't sweat the conference teams too much. I just not in a cocky way. I don't want that to say it came across very cocky. I just really worry about my own guys and what we're doing. I know there's new teams coming and I know them, but I just focus on us.
But you, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows Liberty's coming in, so they're going to kind of walk in and but
with a little swagger,
but
probably
they got put out in the same place, or actually they got put out before we did. So
there you go.
So I guess Liberty better get ready for us when they come in here too.
That's
so
exactly
I'm
right.
Looking forward to the new look.
All right. You guys have a great summer. Thanks for spending an hour and going down a few rabbit trails with me this morning. And really proud of both of you and your teams, and look forward to more excitement coming along.
Chip, thanks for having us.
All right, appreciate it very much. All right, that's going to be it for the Roundtable today. Brian Barrett coming up next. We'll have another show next week. Who's it going to be? Well, it's going to be a surprise to me, too. We'll figure that out here very soon. Stick with the Big G all day here on WGNS Radio.